Here we go, fourth down. Newton's Law. Peggy, what do we have?
We got the real story behind the NFL culture and breaking the mold in the NFL, the No Fun League. All right? So we got a lot of trailblazers that had their own parts, into breaking the mold in the NFL. Obviously, you all are a mass sport, but you've been able to show your culture through your cleats and your fashion. All right, so
not show our culture, show our creativity. Show our uniqueness, and show our boldness outside of the game.
Let me set up the scene. So the NFL was used to no dancing, no custom cleats, no personality. All right, more QBs out of all people. Obviously, you was the face of the team. It was more to be expected to be robotic, no flavor. Just go out there, do your job, and go home.
Ramen noodles without the season.
Ramen noodles, straight out the packet, no water. Just the oodle, no noodle. Okay? So, then we had some changing of the energy. All right? So, we had a guy by the name of Cam Newton. All right? We're just using him as an example. He brought joy, passion, and personality to the game. All right? And that's 2015. It really sparked a lot. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers went almost undefeated, but had a great, stellar season. But within that season, obviously, you all had cultural moments, full team celebrations, and a lot of style on the field with the cleats and your expression. So you did your warm-ups different from a lot of people. You had your one-on-one cleats, one of a kind that really paid homage to what you was going through at the time or what was going on in the world, or just your fashion, your style, or who you were, a kid from College Park. So it just didn't stop there. You have other people in the game, such as OBJ, which he quoted and said he invented the cleat game. Let's be honest. We're just going to pause right there, okay? Because obviously you was in the league before OBJ, and it's not you or him. Obviously, even before you had...
Shout out to Odell.
Yeah, Odell. You had your Deions. You had your Bo Jacksons. You had different people that had their own flair to the game.
But I will say this. Myself and Odell is part of a very, very small group of football players who got their signature shoe, not just a signature cleat. Well, supposedly, that's why Odell had a grievance with Nike.
Yeah.
But this all stemmed when there was a comment that said Odell was the creator of the custom cleat game. Now, granted, Odell came into the league around 2013.
You was there 2002?
I was there 2011.
2011. So
You dig what I'm saying? Not only that, I will say Odell is responsible for the custom glove game and accessories.
Break down accessories.
Accessories is, bro, Odell will wear club-ready jewelry.
Elaborate on your club.
Bruh, he had Richard Milles. He had Rolexes. This man had $250,000, if not more, $1 million worth of jewelry pre-game, bro, during the game, bro. So when I see guys like Justin Jefferson, when I see guys like Jamar Chase, when I see guys like CeeDee Lamb, when I see guys like Tyreek Hill, all these guys, it came from something. No different than what I saw when I came into the league. There were guys that I looked up to, the Bo Jacksons of the world, the Deion Sanders of the world, the Randall Cunninghams of the world, and the Broadway Joes of the world. And it's no denying that everybody did their part in carrying the torch for the next person. I'm just glad to say that I did my part because there was not a lot of ways of expressing yourself outside of football by way of just touchdown celebrations in the NFL. When I first came into the league in 2011, they were not highlighting outfits. They were not highlighting the walk-ups. They were not highlighting, the cleats. They were not highlighting anything post-game either. It was just, talk to us about the game, blah, 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 blah. Now, what triggered my thought process was I remember during my rookie year, that was when LeBron James was in Miami.
Okay.
Right? And I said to myself, I was watching him walk into the tunnel, the entrance tunnel, go into the locker room, and, they have this 15-second piece where everybody's walking, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, as they're entering the locker room. And I was like, we don't have that in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But basketball players have 82 opportunities to showcase their uniqueness. Mm-hmm. I was like, don't worry about it.
Because you got 16.
At that time, I only had 16. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make sure that every one of these 16, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to create some type of buzz with that. Some of them flop and some of them banged. Yeah. But either way,
I'm going to do my thing.
I'm going to do my thing.
Come on now.
Yeah. Man.
Come on, bro. We on the same Wi-Fi.
So this is where everything kind of sparked. I was like, yo, bro. I was working with Under Armour at the time. Shout out to Under Armour. And I was like, yo, I want to be different. So we're in talks and negotiations about creating a custom cleat. And still to this day, the highlight cleat, which was the moon boot, that people attach Cam Newton to. I was like, bro, I need a pregame cleat and I need an actual game cleat. Why? Because during that time, you couldn't even wear any other color outside of black or white. And who decided what you wear was your equipment manager.
Yeah.
So our team, Carolina Panthers, we had black cleats, and you couldn't wear any other cleat color. The next year, you could do team colors, but it had to be black. You could not wear white. So then when I would wear white cleats, I would get fined. Celebrations and celebratory acts in the end zone, you couldn't use props. So
people did it, but they got fined.
They got fined. So I'll tell you this. Even going back to my first rushing touchdown in the NFL versus the Arizona Cardinals, I dove over the top, and my celebration was emulating that Jack in the Box, but I was using the football as a prop. And it was synonymous to, that was my coming out party. Anybody knows like a Jack in the Box, you wind it up, so I'm winding it up, and then boom, I'm popping out. You feel what I'm saying? That was my story, a message behind that celebration. Well, I get a slip in my locker that following week saying that I could not use a football for a prop. So to see where we are now with the game and guys like Odell, guys like Ocho, guys like Terrell Owens, guys like Steve Smith, guys, real showmen of the game that took pride in saying, okay, Antonio Brown, right, who you just couldn't wait to see them score a touchdown and what they would do. So
before you even move forward, was that slip, was that a warning or that was the actual fine?
No, that was a fine. If you get fined, you don't get warning. You get a fine. You could appeal it. And then that could be a warning, but if you don't appeal it, that's coming out of your end of the year check.
And how you appeal it? You have to call somebody?
You got to call the person at the PA or the lead. And your agent, that's why your agent will set up the call and pick up a time. It wouldn't necessarily be that time. You have to schedule a call. That call may have been 2 weeks after or a week after, or sometimes even the week of, and then they approve it or dissolve it. So that's the league that I came into. So self-expression was not even a realistic thing. That wasn't something that football players had an opportunity to do because, once again, we are masked athletes. There wasn't a lot of players like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Odell, Cam Newton, who was recognizable outside of the game. So when those opportunities came where you say, hey, let's think about something that you can make an impact with and be able to express yourself without being a distraction. This was what we call a peaceful protest. So I said, you know what? I like shoes, but let's take this cleats game to a different level. Yeah. This was way before, and no shade here, this was way before 2013. The impact was so impactful that even me trying to pay homage to the city I was playing in, which was the Charlotte community, they were the Bobcats. Yeah. But while I was a Carolina Panther, they made the transition from Bobcat to going back to the Hornets, and I tried to pay homage to the Charlotte Hornets They sent the cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
Don't use none of the NBA logos without. So, bro, a lot of people walked. A lot of people crawled. A lot of people paved while other people can
Run or fly.
do certain things. You feel what I'm saying? So, dare I say, I came up with the No, I just did my part. And Odell was probably the first person to take the custom glove game and the accessories where it's like, bro, this dude wearing a $350,000 watch.
Bro, playing it.
Playing.
He got a house on his wrist.
It's a house? Man, that man got a yacht. Man, that man got, you know what I'm saying? While other folks riding around just with a basic pontoon boat, bro. You feel me?
A paddle boat.
A paddle boat. You know what I mean? One of them side by side.
My legs getting tight.
You dig what I'm saying? But I would not have been inspired without the Deion Sanders, without the Randall Cunninghams, the Broadway Joes of the world, guys who really was vibrant and bold about just expression. One of the most iconic football clips that I, appreciate is Joe Namath on the sideline wearing a mink fur. Yeah, it's like, bruh. And the game has changed because back in that day, you can rip some cigs in the locker room and drink beer too. So it's like, bro, we done came a long way. But they tried to really professionalize something for corporate.
That was Bad News Bears back then.
No, for sure.
Watermaker.
The steel curtain, like those guys really did their thing in that big one. So when I came into the league, I just wanted to do something that could be appreciated from the fans' perspective. Not only that, there's been a lot of things from me getting fined, not with just uniform violations, but even with celebrations. So I made it a point, no matter what I did, and celebrated or dabbed or whatever, after all that, I would make it a point to give a football to a child. Yeah. And so much that the impact in any other stadium, the premium seat would be on the 50-yard line, not in Carolina. Why? The premium seat was in the end zone. And I remember vividly, as we were getting the red zone, and all of a sudden you start seeing a rush or a sea of people get closer and closer and closer to the edge.
Lie.
Because I'm like, yo, this is nuts.
I never knew you paid attention to that while the game was going on. Because it's too, like, I'm in a film and I'm hearing security. If you don't belong here, go back up. And nobody's listening.
No, for real, bro.
And you try to be like, all right, they about to score. But then it's like, what is going on behind me?
A lot of people.
It's
but
chaos.
Then when the cat got out the hat, when it was like, bro, I'm only giving the footballs to kids. Bro, they were dangling kids over the rail.
Take my kids.
You got kids that's standing up on top of parents and like, yo. And this is not just a Charlotte Bank of America thing, bro. It was everywhere we played.
Yeah.
And that is impact. So when Odell sees guys like Justin Jefferson, when Odell sees guys like CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and everybody's expressing themselves not only through visors, because Steve Smith was a person who had many different color visors pregame, and he just looked dangerous. You feel what I'm saying? That came from something that somebody impacted him. So I say all that to say, bro, there's different eras of the game that became more lenient than others, but that didn't mean that guys who were trailblazers didn't get fined, didn't get backlash, didn't, really hurt because of what they were trying to monitor.
Yeah. I wanted to ask that too, when you were talking about the fines. Did they fine you, or did you have to pay for all the balls that you gave out?
I seen a report. That wasn't true. Okay. What would have been a fine, though, me handing a ball would have been okay, because it doesn't ensue a riot. When you throw the ball in a crowd,
that incites a riot.
Why? Is because everybody is on a mad dash to try to go get it. You get people getting pummeled over, stepped on for that. And without that action happening, if somebody were to get hurt, the NFL is going to get sued.
But that's the one thing too, is like I'm looking at any other sport. And one thing even with you giving away the ball or a game ball, baseball you get it only because they hit it out.
Mm-hmm.
They just not just coming just grabbing.
For sure.
Basketball, they don't do it there. And then other than you in football, it wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? And so in soccer, anything like that, it's like, so that really changed.
No, man.
It changed the game.
And I
bro.
always have been an opponent of, like, bruh, they always say be humble. No, bro. Like, man, have fun.
No.
Because, you know, man, act like you've been there before. I would always tell the coach, I don't know if this is going to be my last time. Because let me tell it, if you told me this is your last time scoring a touchdown, Cam,
I'm about that.
boy, I'm about to show
boy.
my tail.
Oh, my goodness.
You dig what I'm saying? Boy,
I'm
I would've
going
jumped
A, B,
in,
take my
jumped out,
shirt off.
jumped in, jumped out. But more or less, this is the real thing that people have to understand about Odell Beckham.
What's up?
Odell Beckham was a recipient of three things aligning. And it first started with, number one, his skill.
Yes.
His skill was undeniable. And still to this day, I've always admired his catching and ball tracking ability while the ball was in the air. And I always tell the story when we was training and I would see that to be an elite skill, right? He would make one-handed catches so routine, but people didn't realize how much work he put in to feel comfortable with that ball in the air, catching it, you know, offhand, you know, on hand and things like that. Number two, he went to a big market in New York. And the stars aligned and fate just had it that the most iconic play probably ever in the regular season happened on Sunday Night Football playing America's team. And it was a meaningful game because it was a division game.
Yeah.
He caught the ball not with one hand, but with three fingers.
Yeah.
And the third thing that I'll say about Odell is this. The company or the brand that he aligned with was the biggest
Nike.
apparel brand in the world.
Yeah,
in
Nike.
So all those things, like you have so many different vendors and factories that can be able to do certain things. And it's like, yo,
Yeah.
when you
You're
got
right.
that three-headed monster,
Biggest play, biggest market, biggest
one
company.
of the biggest stars and
One
the
of the-
biggest
yeah.
players. And understand this, when you look at, the appreciation is this. When you look at the cleats that Odell was rocking, when you look at the cleats that Cam was rocking, they were factory one-of-ones.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nowadays, they have a lot of different shoe artists that just paints over an all-black shoe or paints over an all-white shoe. Still custom, but the process is different.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a rollout of all my cleats from game 1 to game 16, and even an exclusive Pro Bowl cleat that was just factory made, not artist made. And when you look at it, what's the difference, Cam? Okay, a factory made, this is a pink cleat or a pink and neon green, or, you know, the stitching is this or that.
It
or
ain't
the
airbrushed on,
It's not airbrushed.
The base of it is
That color.
Yeah.
An artist's creation is, if it rains, if it snows, any bad weather,
That cleat not gonna look the same.
it's
after
going
the
to
game.
peel off.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Not to discredit anything, but that process is
Yeah.
different. You feel me? So that's something that I can always tip my hat off for the Odells, the Deions, the Antonio Browns, the Terrell Owens, the Randy Mosses, the Aaron Rodgers discount, double check. Because even though they say be humble, people love showmen and showwomen. And as a fan, you can appreciate it the more because they take the time to put on a show.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. So that's my point, Ped.
Yes, sir, Ski.
I won't be the person that says I did this or I did that. I would just say that I had a hand in affecting what we now call customization.
You had a piece of the pie.
You did.